You're listening to the Courtyard Club Call by the Scarf Bagara War, part of the TalkSport fan network, by county fans, for county fans.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Courtyard Club Call. I'm Jimmy Harm. I'm joined by Dan Culverwell. This is a special Courtyard Club Call because we are going live. It's 12:30 on Saturday morning, afternoon, straight after the Peterborough game, and we've got lots and lots to discuss. But first, let's get out our charity walkers, or the charity walkers, doing the 5-4-3-2-1 walk. They're doing an amazing job here. So let's get Dave out and the walkers.
Take it to the corner, Flagson. Take it to the corner. Keep going. Don't cross it. Take it to the corner. He's cut it back. I can't believe it.
Dave, how's it going, buddy? You are live on the Courtyard Club.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
I feel like Katy Perry coming out of that pod and but we're doing this for real. Hers was made up, I think, was it?
Well,
right.
It looks like it's a pretty busy road that you're on, mate. Tell us how far in you are.
We've had a few of them. So, just going to set the scene for you. I'm going to turn it round so that you can see Scouse and Jamie ahead of us.
Yeah.
And then just behind me, not too far, there's Dave and Eddie from the Community Trust. So, we've just come through a place called Ab something. Can't remember what it was called. Car. This guy's a liability, by the way. If anyone gets run over, it's going to be him. Bit harsh. So, we're about done 18.12 miles today. 41 today is the target.
They don't want to speak to you. They want to speak to me.
Don't get run over, guys. Hello, buddy. How's it going, Jay?
Look at all them followers coming in now. Look at all them listeners coming in now.
I know. We need to get.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Just want to tell you, I don't know if you know, but you've smashed your target. You're on £6,105. So well done.
It's amazing. You know, I think our first goal was 3,000, and we're halfway into our second day, and we've doubled it. Crazy.
Are you all feeling good? Feet okay?
Yeah, solid.
Yeah. Min. Okay, then. So let's just remind everybody what's going on. This is a walk from Peterborough to County. It's over 4 days. Well, 2 full days and 2 half days. Dave Thompson, Steve Cunningham, Jamie Redding, Dave Wardle and Eddie Owen raising money for 3 charities: Stockport County Community Trust, Pure Insight 1628 and Mentel. They're currently on 6,155. You got another 50 quid, guys, since we've been on the show. So you've smashed your target of £6,000. And if anybody wants to donate, easiest thing to do is just Google, shove it in the Google address bar, 54321 charity walk, and you will get onto the donation site. So these guys, I mean, it's going to be it's a proper challenge, this. I did the Blackpool walk. It was half of what they're doing. So absolute kudos to them. Honestly, I don't know how you're going to do it, guys. I'm in absolute awe of you. I'll be joining you at Lyme Park. So the last 8 miles, Andy Redding will be joining. Anybody who fancies doing that, join them at Lyme Park. Where else have you got, Dave? You got other sort of pickup points, haven't you?
Checkpoints, Jimmy. So we're going to leave the Premier Inn in Buxton at 6 a.m. on Easter Monday. We're going to walk to Whaley Bridge train station. There's a big red letterbox there. People can join us there. From there, we're going to walk up to Lyme Park. That's another checkpoint. And then from Lyme Park, it's the George and Dragon in Hazel Grove, which is a bit of a rolling meet, so we're not planning on stopping there. And then the Bamford Arms, because that's 1 mile from Edgley Park. So if you want to do 18, come to Buxton. But to do anything between that, go to those. Even if you just do 1 mile and just come and show your support and just challenge yourself to do that, get to the Bamford Arms, and we'll be going straight to Edgley Park from there. So there's some timings online. Check the county Trust Twitter and that. I think they posted something the other day. But I've just very quickly, traffic's gone. Have to thank everyone for getting us to 3,000, but then again getting us to 6,000. I know Jamie said it was incredible that we got that. We honestly are overwhelmed by it. So thank you to everyone for that. And if you don't mind, just a very quick one. You've mentioned the charities, but if I could just mention the 3 sponsors. One is a company called Linton Exports. It's a good old school friend of mine who lives over in Osage, Rob Sandel and his family. They've covered the cost of 1 hotel room. Another one, Neil Lockett, you'll know at County, his company there. Get Active Nutrition. He's given us some bars as well, which are beautiful. So they've got us through. And then as a thank you from us, the Thompson family, people bought T-shirts from us, as you know, for the GHT Adidas thing. So we covered the cost of last night's hotel, which we wouldn't have been able to do if people didn't buy T-shirts. So as a thank you to all of those sponsors and people who have basically got us to this point so far, which, as I say, is now 18.35 miles today. Add that to 20.8 last night, and you'll be able to know how many we've done, but my maths is rubbish.
40 miles. 40 miles. Well done, Tommy. You're almost halfway there. Can't believe it.
Well, the total for today will be 41.5. So we've done 18. So we're nearly halfway just for today. And then tomorrow's 33. We're just over 33 and a bit. And then last one is Buxton. Buxton.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll leave you to it, Tomo, but you're looking amazingly fresh there, buddy. And I can see the others behind you as well. Everyone's looking happy. There's Steve. Thumbs up. Nice one, Steve. Okay. So we'll leave you to it. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the Peterborough game now.
Top stuff. Thanks for having us on, boys.
Well done, buddy. See you.
Bye.
Okay, nice. Right, so as we've just said, we've got a live show and we got some people itching to talk Peter, haven't we, Dan? We're going to do the order that they joined us backstage.
Well, should we just chuck them all straight on? We'll do another transition and chuck them all straight on in one go, I think.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
To Louis Barry! Oh, yes! He's done it again! Louis Barry with an absolute screamer! It's a wonderful goal from Louis Barry!
Blimey, look at this. 6 people. So who've we got? We got Martin, Ellen, John Billsbury. Hey, John. Nice to see you, buddy. Steve Barsley, Courtyard Club Call regular. Hi, Steve. He's coming to us from Tenerife, so I might not let him talk that much because I'm super jealous. and then we got Andy Bullock, who's not coming from Tenerife. It looks like it's his
I'm coming from Mallorca. If that's
Mallorca, you've annoyed me as well. Okay, fair enough. Lovely. Okay, guys. So Peterborough. Let's just talk about whether that was a point gained or 2 points lost. I'm going to come to you, Martin, first, if that's okay with you, buddy. What do you think?
A point gained, because if you'd have said beginning of the season, you're going away to a playoff contender. I appreciate they weren't by the time we got there, but they were last season. You've just beaten Birmingham in the cup as well. I think you'd have took a point, and being 1-0 down for the majority of the game, it's a point gained. Yeah, would we have loved all 3? Of course we would, but ultimately you can't say it's a bad result when we've managed to get something.
They're a pretty decent side at home as well. I mean, I noticed that they beat Charlton 3-0 not too long ago as well. They've got plenty of firepower. It's just whether that defence was going to hold out, and they did okay. So, Steve, I know we've only got you for 15 minutes. So, did you watch the game from some bar in Tenerife or what?
Yeah, I did. I went on a mad search through all the bars to get someone to put it on for us. So I kind of got it in this bar called the 19th Hole in Los Cristianos, and it was us on one TV and then Stoke on the next TV. But the commentary was the Stoke game, and we had to listen to it in silent, and we had the buffer in. So literally, it buffered on Peterborough's goal, and it buffered on our goal. So I missed both goals, and then I just saw the County fans celebrating at the end. So, but I did see majority of the game, but it was a hard watch, but mainly because of where we were watching it.
It was a hard watch anyway, Steve, to be honest. I mean, John, did you manage to get to the game, or were you watching on TV?
No, I was there. It was, like you say, a difficult watch. They were rapid and gave us a lot of trouble, I thought. So in the end, a draw was decent.
Yeah, I think so. I think with the remaining games that we've got as well, I mean, Huddersfield should be there for the taking. They've absolutely tanked. Andy, who would you say was the best player in that first half? It's going to be a tricky one, but I'm going to ask you to.
I'll put my excuses in. I'm technically working here, so I wasn't able to see the first half. I saw the second half until about 88, 89 minutes, and then I had to go and carry on working. So I missed both goals. But from what I did see and from what I heard, definitely a point gained. I think Peterborough did themselves, very proud. They did really well. And as Martin said, having beaten Birmingham at the weekend, they're probably still quite motivated after that to prove themselves. So from my point of view, a point gain. Sorry, I can't directly answer your question.
That's okay. So, I mean, Dan, you were there as well. Obviously, we met in Charters before the game. Beautiful summer's day. Well, it was 16 degrees. It's about as good as you're going to get in April, but the sun was out, so that was all good. Were you confident going into the game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident every game actually now. To be honest, I think we've played everyone obviously at least once. I don't think, apart from obviously the Wickham game, nobody's really put us to the sword. So yeah, I was confident in that. We're all hoping there was going to be a bit of a hangover for Peterborough from the Birmingham game in the trophy. Yeah, it's like I say that for me, I don't know, did that injury, that long stop for that injury really sort of like change, sort of flattened us out a little bit? Because I thought it was just, it's really hard to get going again once you have like an injury stop for that length of time so early in the game. I think it was only sort of 7-8 minutes into the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 10-minute stop, wasn't it, in the end? I don't know what's happened with the guy. I don't know if anybody knows, but it looked like maybe broken leg or something. I don't know.
Darren Ferguson in his post-match interview stated that I don't think it was a broken leg, but there was a gash that was down to the bone. And you could see the bones or a laceration or something like that. Obviously, I know a lot of Peterborough fans saying that Ollie Norwood should have been sent off. I didn't see what actually happened because I think the ball had moved on. All I would say, I don't think it's in Ollie Norwood's sort of like makeup or character to sort of go and do somebody purposely or put somebody, injure them on, do one on somebody. So I didn't see it. So I don't know if any of you guys actually saw what actually happened with the Peterborough player.
I think it was.
Go on, John. You go.
I thought Ollie Norwood was stretching for the ball, and he obviously caught him. But I don't think it was in any way malicious. But given the way the referee seemed to whistle for absolutely everything, I was a bit concerned that we might see a red. I'm not sure whether he was booked at all, to be honest with you. And there didn't seem to be any great recriminations from their side against him.
Yeah. No, there was no yellow card or anything for the foul or anything like that.
No, we watched on the TV and it was a bit of a coming together, but you could see the blood on his sock, so you could tell something had gone, something bad had happened. But there didn't seem to be any malice between the players or anything, so I think it was just unfortunate, really.
It's a good point. You tend to find that the opposition, if it's been a bad tackle, like a proper bad tackle, they will react, but nobody did they? So that lends you to think, yeah, it's probably a bit of an accident. I mean, I thought Norwood did okay. I think he tends to be a little bit isolated when we've not got Camps or Bate in the team. I don't know what you thought, Martin, of Bailey's introduction into the starting 11. He's played well in cameo appearances over the last couple of games. And obviously with a thought, I guess, of rotating the team between the Friday and the Monday, and maybe he did deserve a start. But how do you think he played in that first half?
Unfortunately, it didn't work. I get the why. I get the rotation. But how they set up, you need a lot of running. And I think Dave said about that in his post-match. And it's probably a slight note in Bailey saying it like this, but he's almost a bit of a luxury player. in that he can find space and he can do things on the ball that are great. I'm not sure he's the man for the up and the down, getting the foot in. Really creative, but I'm not sure he was the man for the game. But hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
And I know it's the same again. They're Peterborough. They set up obviously Darren Ferguson. You have to give him credit because he did a man marking job, I thought, on Ollie Norwood. Their number 7. Every time Ollie Norwood was on the ball, their number 7 was right, hurrying him and sort of putting pressure on him. And as we know, Ollie Norwood, with time on the ball, will pick passes out left, right, and centre. But when he's getting a little bit flustered and a bit of pressure, them sort of passes didn't sort of seem to find their mark at times.
Do we think the wind played a bit? I mean, obviously, if you weren't there, you probably wouldn't have noticed how bad the wind was, but it was pretty bad. Do you think that played a bit of a role in that first half? Because we were shooting with the wind in the first half, and just so many balls seemed to be floating out of play. What did you think, John? You were there.
Yeah, we certainly seemed to give the ball away a lot and struggled to find the range, didn't we? So, I thought Norwood and Diamond were particularly culpable. You know, they were trying things, which was great, but they were giving the ball away an awful lot. So whether that was to do with the wind, I'm not sure. But, you know, it's hard to criticise Diamond as he got us that equaliser in the end, but he did give the ball away an awful lot.
Yeah. On the TV, it looked like we were overhitting the balls, and I wasn't aware of the wind. So it looked like Tanto just couldn't quite latch onto them long balls. So it's like, you know, is he timing his runs? Are they overkicking it or what? But I had no idea there was kind of bad winds. So that kind of makes a lot of sense now you've said that. I mean, it was that bad that first half, I'd say Corey's kicks were flying through, and then second half, they were hardly making the halfway line. The way that, because we were on, the away fans were at the side of the pitch, so you could just see how the ball was sort of moving and then suddenly just dropped, like almost like vertically, because the wind sort of took it. So it definitely helped the second half, and I was confident in the second half. Should we just talk about the goal? So their goal. So Andy, sorry about this, but if you've not seen the goal, I'm not going to be able to come to you. Dan, what did you think about the goal? Did Pi get it wrong?
Well, before Pi, you have to comment that they've got a counter attack from basically our set piece, our corner. I think it was on the attack. And that's probably the disappointing bit. For me, I would have liked to see Pi put his head to it, put a head on it. I think if the player wants to put his foot up, you're going to get the foul and a free kick. But yeah, you've got to, in that position, you have to sort of put a portion of blame onto Pi. But same again, I think Dave Chandler alluded to in his post-match that really we should have done better before we even got to that situation where the balls come to Pi in the first place. So yeah, it is a bit of it's a learning curve for him. He makes mistakes, but he does seem to sort of, every time he makes a mistake, he does come back stronger, Ethan. So yeah.
Yeah, and Dave said that, didn't he, in his post-match? I mean, he talked about Ethan, he will go on for bigger and better things. And I get the impression from listening to Dave that he's a bit of a sponge, Ethan. And, you know, he learns from everything. Every mistake he makes, he will learn from, and it'll make him a better player. And Dave in his post-match said that, you know, it'll be better for us because of that. Bit disappointing. I do kind of think he was at fault, but, you know, everyone makes mistakes, don't they? You live and learn.
I've not seen the goal back, Martin, but Pi was well over on the right-hand side. So I can't remember exactly why Horsfall wasn't there. But do you think maybe part of the reason why he was a little bit hesitant was because he maybe just wasn't used to being on that side of the pitch? It sounds ridiculous me saying that, actually. But what do you think?
Maybe. I think it was more that he's trying to do what we do, which is build, whether that be controlling it, getting it back to Adai, or controlling it or picking someone. Whereas I think he could have just smashed it. But again, you know, watching it back is different to, you know, trying to play it live. He had the opportunity to just put his foot through it and put it out into the stands, but he didn't do that, and that's where we came unstuck.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because like if you watch any European games, if a player raises his foot that high, so their striker, if they raise their foot that high close to another player, tends to be a free kick. I know that you said, Dan, that if Pi had been a little bit braver, he'd have got the free kick if he put his head down into it, or if he'd sort of put his body right into it, he'd have got that free kick. Moving past the Pi incident, their centre forward, let's face it, he did a great job. He outpaced Pi. He was trying to get back to him. What a finish as well. I had no chance. I've not seen it from behind the goal yet, but it looked like a top finish to me. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Same again. I think Corey did everything he can. He sort of went back into his 18-yard box, tried to make himself bigger than what he already is. And it's a good finish. That you got to give credit to, let's say, to the Peterborough player, because he's had a lot of time. That incident where he's nicked it off Pi's virtually on the halfway line, I think. So he's had a lot of time with the ball. And as we know, sometimes with players at this level, the more the time they've got, the more chance they've got to fluff their lines. But no, with all credit, he stuck it past Corey with a nice, tidy finish.
So let's move into second half. We can bring Andy in here. So Andy, did you see, you must have seen the second half substitutions.
Yes.
Did that sound good to you? Because it sounds like you were listening to maybe the first half, were you? But you didn't watch it. Is that right? Or
yeah. So I was sort of up to date with it at social media, and then I managed to see the goals since then. But the substitutions I thought were really positive. It's nice to see Jay Mingy back. I think don't entirely know what's happened there behind the scenes, but he seems to be sort of coming back in. And then I think to put him on the same side as Fevrier, to have them working together, that I'd still like to see a little bit more, I think, from both of those two working together. But some of the skill that Jay Mingy displayed towards the end, where he was flicking it around players and moving it around them, passing the ball one side, running the other side with his speed, was really nice, really encouraging to see. And then you can see now why the club were interested in him and why they brought him in when he's showing that potential. So I thought that was a really positive move. I again, from what I saw and heard from the first half, I thought it was something that was needed. And from what Dave Challoner's done previously, he's not afraid to make those decisions and to say we need to change, we need to play this differently, and to bring on players that he thinks can do that.
Spot on. I mean, Jay Mingy is a powerful player, and you can see that he's a midfield, that he's been played in as a midfielder as well in the past, because he's got that confidence on the ball. Hopefully he'll be our answer now for that right side. You touched on didn't quite know what's has been going on with him. It's some sort of long-term issue that he's had with his muscles, isn't it? Some sort of, I think, is it lactic acid buildup, or he's just not able to sort of run for any sort of length of time. So really, really unlucky. I don't think it's happened to him before in his career. Hopefully they've fixed it, because he could be an absolute diamond when it comes to the last sort of 4 or 5 games that we're going to play, especially with the Maka being out, Noyle's also out, so we are struggling for that side. Brad Hills, not one of his better games. I was surprised that he was kept on, Martin. He was obviously preferred over Fraser, wasn't he? Has anybody heard anything on that? Hands up, I've not listened to Dave's post-match yet, so I don't know whether he mentioned that.
No mention of it, so I can only presume it was tactical in that I suppose recently Hills and Pi have done well in the middle together, so I can only presume it was that rather than anything else with Fraser. A little bit surprised, because he doesn't back away from a challenge or a comment or a bit of verbals, does Brad, which I love, but when you're on a yellow, you're always running a risk with Brad Hills, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he was taken away, wasn't he, Dan, from their number 10, because he was a red card waiting to happen. That number 10, literally, I'm surprised he managed to stay on his feet with the wind being what it was, because like if anybody came anywhere near him, he seemed to fall over.
Yeah, I mean, half time comes and, I'd have put money on Brad Hills to be the first player to be axed, to be honest, because of that yellow card. And you just thought, well, he's not going to take that risk of, having somebody sent off. So, yeah, I thought Brad Hills would have come off. I would never have put money on Fraser being the coming off. But like I say, the two substitutes changed it, unfortunately. I can understand why he changed the starting lineup, bringing in Bailey and bringing in Collar, because obviously they finished so well in the previous game. But it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. But yeah, Feb's, looking a threat and promising, and same again with Mingy behind him. You could see the link up in the partnership, and same again. I do love players that like to carry the ball, and Mingy does what Akil Wright used to do, and likes to go on a sort of 10-15 yard dash with the ball and break the lines, and it does make the difference. And it puts us on the front foot and gets us all going. And like you say, it just changed the dynamic of the whole game. I mean, when you look at the stats for the possession for the first half, we only had 46% of the possession. Second half, we've had 68% of the possession. So it completely changed the dynamic, them substitutes.
Yeah, I mean, on that as well as a massive shift in like shots. First half, we had 3. Second half, we had 13. In the first half, the number of passes as well. Like the first half that we had was 158 to their 191 accurate passes. They only had 51 accurate passes in the second half, which was, it's got to be some sort of record that from like a team, 51 accurate passes. Moving on to Diamond. So obviously we've got his goal to talk about. It's interesting, John, because you said that you thought Diamond was pretty poor in that first half. I actually thought he played really, really well, and he had a great game. I'd given him man of the match. So it's funny how we see different things. His confidence does seem to be up, though, doesn't it, John? Compared to obviously at the start of the season.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he is exciting to watch, and if he gives the ball away, at least it's because he's trying to move us on, which is very important, especially when we've got Toure and him on the left. Toure is great defender, but terrible at moving forward. So to have Jack to actually push us down that left-hand side I think it's ideal. But I did think he gave the ball away rather a lot. But as I say, it's because he's trying things.
Yeah, agree. Same again, Norwood as well. They're trying the passes, they're trying the through balls. If you try and thread a ball through the channels and break the lines, they're not always going to find their mark. The defender's going to get there first, so your pass completion is going to show as a negative. It's easy to pass it 5 yards back to the person that's passed it to you in the way that you're playing. So yeah, totally agree with Jack Diamond. He's going to be frustrating, but he's frustrating because he's trying to do different things.
Yeah. So Andy, we saw some more subs in that second half. So Benno came on for Tanto on 75, and then sort of 9 minutes later, Moxon came on for Toure. How do you think Tanto had been playing up to that point?
I'd say relatively ineffective. And now having heard you talking about the wind, some of the times they seem to play the ball Norwood or Bate when he's there, sort of play the ball into an area, and then Tanto can run into that area and beat the players. And now you're talking about the wind and the passes, then that kind of makes sense that maybe they've been trying that. There was a few times when Norwood just overhit it, and there was no way Tanto could get close to it. So I think maybe on this occasion that just wasn't quite. Give him a rest, give him 20 minutes rest or whatever it was, and then he can go again on Monday full gas. So from that point of view, I think he's made a fantastic impact since he's really come back into the team. Yesterday maybe wasn't one of his highlights, but not overly his fault, maybe.
Yeah, and in fairness, when you got Fevrier on the pitch anyway, you can probably, because Fevrier's got pace, Diamond's got pace, you can probably give up Tanto for maybe 15, 20 minutes. and bring on a slightly different striker in Benno. So didn't really do enough for me. I don't think I was impressed with the Peterborough central defenders. They look pretty young, to be fair, but they seem to marshal the defence pretty well, and didn't give us much change, to be fair. If you look at the shot map on FOTMob, a lot of our shots were from outside the box, or sort of 15, 16, 17 yards out.
In total, we had 10 shots from outside the area. And same again, I think we commented how many shots we had against outside the box for the Rotherham game, which was 9. This was 10. The big disappointing bit, obviously, we had 16 shots in total, only 3 on target. So only just less than 20% of our shots are on target. And same again, it takes us 1 shot on one out of every 3 shots on target to score a goal. So that's obviously always has been my criticism all season, that our shots on target ratio is just not good enough. Really, we need so many shots, total shots, for a small percentage of them to be on target. And then the same again, the conversion rate is not good enough. So that's been my criticism, and that's sort of come to bear again in this game.
Yeah, just play a little transition, and then we'll talk about Diamond's super goal, and then whether we think second place is gone or not. Okay, then. So, Martin, what did you think of that Diamond shot? I flipping loved it. You can swear, but I'm trying not to. I was accused by my daughter yesterday of swearing far too much all day. Okay, so I'm not. It was a flipping good goal. What do you think?
Unstoppable. It was perfect placement, and it had really good power behind it as well. Gave the keeper absolutely no chance. Again, leading back to the frustration piece of Diamond, he pulls that out of the bag, and you're thinking, oh, if he could have just done that 10 minutes earlier. But I appreciate he didn't have the ball in that position until the death. But absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, the keeper was tiny as well, wasn't he, John? I was like, I think Norwood's he set up for a free kick, didn't he? I was thinking, if you get that on target, that's going in. So, but yeah, he didn't get it on target but there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, shall we just talk about whether we think second place has gone or not? I don't want to bring a downer on it. And I know we've said it's probably a point game rather than 2 lost. Peterborough, a decent team that just beat Birmingham in the Virtu Trophy. But with Charlton's form, I know they've got some difficult games. They're playing Wickham. Wait a minute. Charlton playing Wickham and Wrexham? Is that right? Nods? Yeah. So they've got some difficult games coming up. But so Dan, do you think second place is now gone?
It's obviously, well, to be honest, it was never in our hands. We've said this before. A few weeks ago, we were the 4th horse in a 2-horse race for that second spot, and nothing's really changed. It's always when you're relying on other people to fall and stumble, then it was, for me, it was never in our own hands. So I'm not that worried. Playoffs, what it'll be. Playoffs, I'm over the moon with. I'm not fearful of anybody that we've got left to play or who we could play in the playoffs, to be honest. Yes, it probably has gone. Other people will say, well, if this and if that, and it was like, if I picked 6 numbers on the lottery, I'd win it. Job. So I don't play the lottery. I'm not worried about it, to be honest. For me, it's about momentum. We look back. We've lost 2 league games this calendar year, in Cambridge and Wrexham. We've got cracking form again, which what Dave Challoner does. We get into the end of the business part of the season with really, really good form. And we're still unbeaten. We've so far this month 3 wins and 1 draw, 2 games to go. So yeah.
I'll ask the same question to you, Andy. What do you think? Top 2 gone?
Head very much says, listen to Dave Challenger, play the next game, focus on winning that one, and then come to the one after that, and let everybody else do what they do. If they drop the points, you take advantage by winning your own games.
That's far too sensible.
I know.
We want you to say yes or no. Or
The heart says, sadly, I do think that's gone, particularly because we play Wickham on the last game of the season, and I think, if I can't see both Wickham and Wrexham slipping up to the extent that we need to go to Wickham and win, and if we go there and win, and then Wrexham are still above us, I just think Dan has it right. Fourth horse in a two horse race. I think what would please me more, well, not more, I think what would please me in the playoffs is being in the top 2, so that you get that home leg for the second, that home tie for the second leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty critical. And what with those teams all playing each other, that there is a good chance that we can still finish in that top 4. But we are still in the position where we could potentially decide whether Wrexham go up or not in that last game of the season if we chuck the game and sort of let Wickham go. But that would never happen, obviously. But John, what do you think? I'm asking the same question to you. Top 2 gone or not?
Vanishingly unlikely, I think. I know Easter's a time for miracles, but I think you're stretching it a bit for us to get second. Third or fourth would be great. Second, while it's still possible, and while Wrexham's form seems to be a bit iffy, but if they don't do it, I think Wickham will. I'd like us to go to Wickham and win, but I wouldn't mind too much if Wrexham went up. It'd be out from under our feet for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Finally, to you, Martin. What do you think?
Agree with everything everybody said. Because I'm sad and I look at league tables and put potential results in, there's one absolute horror story that I think 3 of the teams could all finish on 87 points, and it goes down to goal difference. That could still potentially happen if Charlton, beat Wickham and Wrexham. So.
Yeah, well, as it stands, we'd have to beat Wickham 3-0 to get a 6-goal swing, which is what they've got at the moment. But yeah, that's a cracking thing, and you've obviously got far too much time on your hand if you're able to do that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, I think we're pretty much done. We're almost at 40 minutes, guys. So thank you for joining us, Martin, Andy, and John. And Steve,
Pleasure.
He's no longer with us. You may have not realised if you're listening to this, but he's had to disappear after 15 minutes. So thanks, Steve, for joining us, and obviously also Dan as well. If you guys stay on afterwards, we'll just have a quick chat with you. That'd be great. But yeah, I think we're done. So thank you. Roll on Monday. Huddersfield at home. Remember to donate to the guys that are doing this walk. It's an absolute, honestly, I cannot tell you how hard the Blackpool walk was, and this is double the distance, so it's an absolutely amazing thing that they're doing. So please Google 54321 charity walk. All the details are on there and how you can donate. If you do want to join them for the walk, part of the walk on Monday, there's an itinerary on there as well, which will show you where they're going to be at what time, so anyone can join that. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. And yeah, we're done. So thanks, guys, and we'll do it all again probably Monday evening.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!